5 minutes past the hour. So homework for last night was, let's start in the one area that we've said, okay, I'm going to start. For me, it was my linen closet. And if I was going to give myself a grade, it would have to be a big fat F. Because I'm just going to tell you, but I avoided it until this morning. I just couldn't even do it. And I actually bought a jacket online. So, I mean, yeah, ridiculous. So I'm at least recognizing like the depths of this and how insidious it is. And, I got up this morning and I was like, I'm doing this, like this is happening. And I went through all of the sheets and the pillowcases and the pillows and the blankets and the, bed skirts and the, what are they called? The mattress covers, like all that stuff that I have that's in his room that I had unloaded the closet of. And I have now 2 big bags to give away. Yeah. One goes,
an F.
Well, I mean, if it was due this morning when I got up, then it would be an F because I hadn't done it.
A-.
No, you said we weren't going to finish it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you didn't
Yes.
get.
I said start, but thank you, team. So I have one bag that's going to go to either the animal shelter or the wildlife place or the dog place, because it has the pillows in it that I can't then resell. And then another bag is going to go to the Goodwill that has all the bedding, and where I'm a little bit stuck that I didn't know what to do with pillowcases. I'm a pillowcase hoarder, and I've at least identified the pairs of pillowcases, but I need to go through and decide what I'm gonna get rid of. And then folding is a whole other ball of wax. I have no idea how to do any of that, but I'll figure it out. So that's Carrie's homework. I'm giving myself okay, I'll give myself a B because I did at least get a little bit done, and now I have 2 bags.
Yeah.
How'd you guys?
No, that's great.
I got a box in front of the shelf that I'm starting with, but I had to go to that thing last night and then I had to work all morning this morning. So it's there.
Well, you
Wait.
know your starting place,
Yeah.
and you have your box.
So I get an F. I get an F plus.
I think none of us should get an F. Let's just put that out there.
Yes, no Fs.
How'd
Well,
you do?
I'm happy where I ended up. In fact, I didn't get rid of it's like a pewter tray because I really like trays and plates. So it can fit nicely. I can shut the doors. I got rid of all the Boy Scout stuff and I moved my linens into that drawer. So it's nice and neat. And then I went, you know what? I don't want to get rid of that wedding present thing, but I remember there's some crystal in another drawer. So I did 2 more drawers in the dining room, and I have a table of donatables. So I had momentum.
I think you're the star student. You're the star.
It's not an A, but and I went over with my husband, I'm getting rid of these. Okay. One of the things we got for our wedding is a crystal-ish, I don't know, glass anyway, wine bottle coaster. Why? So we're getting rid of that. We don't drink wine. Drink wine.
It's like a little thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't
No,
drip
it's like
down the side of the
Just
bottle.
sits on top.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't really see, like that tall,
Yeah.
like a little tiny candy dish maybe, but no, it's gone.
Good for you. Awesome.
And I do like those pretty things, but I don't need it.
And I bet you have other pretty things.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So now that we have some things to actually give away and get rid of, I wanted to ask my friend Jennifer to come join us and help open our eyes a little in terms of where we might think about donating these things that we haven't thought about already.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's been not my typical week. So I was able to just run in and kind of see what you've been doing. So it's been great seeing, everything that's coming up. I've done a lot of stuff around decluttering in my life. I have collected a lot of different random things. I feel like I love everything. Like I feel like I can like fall in love with a lot of different things. And so, but then it gets out of control, right? So I actually did something similar to this last year. I called it the Experience Aloha Project. And it was around because what I figured out was I have a hard time letting go because sometimes I think, oh my gosh, I might need this later. Or, oh, I might need this for this event. I'm going to wear it to this event one day. Or, what if this comes up? Or it's sentimental, right? Those are usually the main reasons all of us struggle with. But one day I heard about Dress for Success, and they're the company that works with women on, kind of transitioning back into the workplace. So in my garage, I just had piles and piles and loads of clothes. And I just so happened, not that long before I heard about Dress for Success, was trying to purge. And I was struggling. I just, I was like, I can sell it because I was also doing resale. But then that sell pile, which we usually call death piles, just kept getting bigger and I didn't have the time to list it. So at a certain point, we have to say, enough is enough, right? So when I heard about Dress for Success, I thought, oh my gosh, these people need my um, clothes more than I do. And the crazy thing, it's like a switch flipped. And I gathered up like 7 bags of clothes and I was able to just donate it. So I found that if I know where it's going, or if I know somebody else is going to benefit more, or they'll love and appreciate it and honor it more than I would, it's so much easier for me to let go.
Yeah.
So when I did that project, I said, well, let me just see if there's different places that I can donate things. Because Goodwill, I do donate a lot of things there. When I feel like I just have to get it out of my house before I change my mind, that's where I'll go. But when I know, okay, I can be a little more intentional and send it somewhere that they can really use it, then I like to look for specific places. So I know you were kind of mentioning books the other day, Carrie,
Yeah.
and but you were talking about linens, and I got so excited because yes, animal shelters, right, and those rescue places, they need all of those things.
Yeah.
So and I think people forget about that. Towels, that's another one. They need towels. So if you have old towels, then that's a perfect place to donate them. But I will tell you something funny about pillowcases. So if you have ones that don't match, or even if you do and they're cute, what I use them for sometimes is to protect my purses.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
So, and even when, like when traveling or something like that too, I put them in a pillowcase just to protect it. So that's also because I look at things a few different ways. If I can repurpose it, right? Is there another use for it? Or, I can give it away as a gift, then it makes it easier to let go. So think about that as an idea. And when I was reselling, and if I would sell purses, I actually would just, try to find cute pillowcases and then send it to them in that and just kind of put a bow on it and make it look pretty.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, but I'm just curious, are there other specific things that you guys are running into that you were interested in maybe donating to places other than Goodwill? Anything that has come up? Just curious. If not, I have plenty.
I just run into stuff
Well-
that maybe wasn't able to be donated to Goodwill. That's kind of where I have a problem. But I don't have
Like
any
what?
specific stuff
Oh,
other
okay.
than the
Okay.
pillows. I was like stuck on the pillows, but now I've moved on.
Okay. So yeah, and then things like books, so the way I would just start to think about things if you're just trying to figure out where else can I let go of this or who else could appreciate this more. There's Operation Paperback, and that's for veterans. So you can send books to veterans. There's also libraries in like hurricane relief areas. There's been libraries that have been destroyed. So there's a lot of places that are, in need of those types of books. So I always like thinking of stuff like that, like who can this serve even better? Like who is really going to appreciate this? Who could really use this more than I can? So when I have a piece that I'm struggling with, but inside I know deep down I don't really need it. And those are some of the things I try to start to think about. So, but even when I was doing that little event or challenge, I found different charities. So even bras, right? Like we're all women here, so it's easy to say. So bras, there's charities out there. I think I wrote this one down here, where you can actually send your old bras. And
Where can I send them?
this one was Free the Girls. I think they're still around,
I
but
think I'm gonna remember that.
yeah. So it's really cool. And I'll place some in the group, some of these places. But yes, there's like Free the Girls, even out for veterans too. There's Tech for Vets.
Huh.
So if you have like some old electronics, they even do like DVDs or CDs.
Ooh,
Same thing. There's a lot of things for veterans that you can just have them sent. I know there were some hospitals or even like senior homes as well. If there's like DVDs, you have to check. There were places that they were taking like old VHS, but a lot of them have been donated, like DVD players or Blu-ray players. So many of them don't take in VHS anymore, but you can still donate like old DVDs and Blu-ray. That's another place I like, like the senior homes and stuff like that.
yeah, I
But
hadn't thought of that.
yeah. And then when you said China, it's funny because I used to have a space where I would sell like vintage and antiques. So I love all that stuff. But I know a lot of times if you have full sets, then sometimes it's nice to sell them or gift them away. But that one's a tough one, right? And depending on where you live, if you don't have the Goodwills, or I always worry they're just going to break just because of how they handle everything. So those are other things as well that's good to donate. I even like the idea of donating it to like women's shelters too, so that way they have something nice. Or like women's homes, I should say, because there's a lot of organizations that have like homes, almost like bed and breakfast type homes where you could have something nice for them. But and then repurpose them. You can also repurpose some of them and give them away as gifts, especially if it's like family. You can make cookies, or you can make and then actually gift them with the plate if they're really like fancy, cute plates. So there's
That's a great
so many
idea.
things that you can do. Yeah. And I don't know the name off the top of my head, but there's actually an organization. It was something like the International Matching something for China. So that way they can match up. So if there's people out
I've seen
there
that.
who have missing pieces, and they're looking for it. Because on eBay, I mean, I know my grandma, like some of my grandmother's China, you would see them and they would sell, and I used to sell, some China as well in my booth. Because people, it's like, oh no, I cracked a mug, or I dropped a couple plates. So they're only looking for, 2 here, 3 there. So eBay is a great one. And if you're just trying to get rid of them, even like Facebook Marketplace, you're just trying to get rid of stuff. There's just some people who are looking at it, or they even use it for art, right? There's a lot of them who do like, what is it, those mosaics? Not that you want yours destroyed, but if you do have broken ones, I actually used to do a lot of yard sales, and people would buy the broken pieces. I had something break and I didn't realize it, and there was actually like an art teacher who was like, "Oh no, I'll take that." But I didn't even think about that.
That's a great idea.
So, and then a fun one kind of reminds me of you, Carrie, but if you have like vintage clothing, things like that, especially specific like period pieces, another fun one to do is to donate to theaters,
Mhm.
right?
That's a great idea.
Because a lot of times I actually had someone come by to one of my yard sales, and I had a bunch of stuff, and they said, "Oh yeah, we have a theater here, and we're always looking for things." So at the end, it was just like, "Okay, just take it."
If I can interrupt for a second, just Carrie,
Absolutely.
when my mom died, I contacted Tatnall, and I haven't gotten it done yet because of COVID, but they, the school where we went has a big theater program and a brand new ginormous fancy schmancy theater. And they are willing to take all of the furniture that I don't want for
Oh.
sets. And I
Oh,
bet
that's
community
great.
theaters would do
That's a great
exactly
idea.
the same thing. Cause I was
Yeah.
like, what in the, cause it's too nice. I mean, like, it's very nice furniture. Like it's
Right.
mid-century, Danish modern furniture. And I didn't want to go through the fuss and bother of selling it. And I didn't want to just take it to Goodwill.
Right.
And I called the guy who's in charge of the theater and was like, hey, would you guys want this? And I know it'll end up painted like hideous, but at least it's a good. Do you have any ideas about jewelry, like middle of the road, not like the nice stuff, but I have a lot of earrings of my mother's that I don't know what to do with.
So another one that's good, like women's shelters, those types of things, or those that are in transition getting into the workplace, because they need all of that,
Right.
right? And actually, one of my really good friends and I, she's amazing. She's always involved in different charity things, but um, we've done stockings, for women's shelters, things like that. Well, the ones that are more like the Ann Douglas Center, or, we did stockings for them, or during Valentine's Day. So we made little bags for each of them and put the jewelry in there, like that. And they love it. They appreciate it. No matter what type it is. It's just nice to have something that they know is theirs and can
Right.
look pretty and can add to their outfit. So I always love that. But again, if you have mismatched pieces, again, I've had a teacher and a jewelry maker who just like to repurpose things, and they would use it for art. So I had broken necklaces, like I didn't realize, because I had a bunch of stuff I was separating. I was like, "Oh no, these are broken." And they said, "Can I buy all of your broken stuff?" And it's like, sure. So you would be surprised. I don't know if you've ever seen it too, but in Goodwill, a lot of them will have, like, they'll have a vase, and then they just throw a bunch of jewelry in it, and then they'll sell it just like that, right? So I've done that before, where I would just get like a vase, and I would just say like, "Oh, this is just mismatched stuff." But when you have jewelry makers or people who even sew, and they like to make little things, they love it. It's like a little hodgepodge of I had that with buttons too. Old buttons, I would keep, if something was torn, I would just at least take the buttons, because people love buttons too.
Crafty people.
Craft people. Yeah. See, we could think of like Michelle Goltz, right? And
Right.
her Happy Mail, right? So those are the fun things that you can do with I actually did that. I think I brought her a bunch of pieces when I went to the last retreat,
Awesome.
the other year. I brought her a bag of just like some cute buttons and some old jewelry,
Oh,
and
that's a great
that I
idea.
thought would be cute. So those are things that you can do as well. Like community centers, you can donate some of that stuff probably to community centers where they do arts and crafts. So, but hopefully that's kind of getting, the juices flowing on some
Definitely.
other options other than Goodwill.
Yeah.
Not
What's
that
your
there's
thought?
anything wrong.
What's your thought process? Like I go to Google and I say, okay, like for pillows, it was where can I donate my old pillows locally, and up pop stuff. When you go to Google and you try and figure that stuff out, like what are the words that you put in there? What's your thought process there?
Sometimes I just look up, where to donate like specialty items and just kind of see what pops up. I haven't done it in a little while, but I mean, Carrie knows. I had a lot of decluttering to do. I love to shop, so that's why I do I like to do a lot around like conscious shopping, because I realized I had a hard time. Why I had such a hard time decluttering or getting rid of things is because I was constantly bringing new things in, right? So until you turn that off, it was never going to end, and I was so overwhelmed. So until I figured that out, then I was really able to dig in. But of course, that opens a new can, right? Because then there's all the attachments and all of that around it.
Well, that's why we're
But
here. We're all opening those cans, and that's all okay, and that's all good.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
So this is great. I mean, because having your space, I mean, once you can get it to where you want it, and then Carrie comes in and teaches us how to, kind of all work together, then you can have like your sanctuary, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm learning though that my sanctuary is overrun with stuff. So
Yeah. And you mentioned like starting somewhere easy. I think that's really important, because
Yeah.
it's like you have to, if you try to start with something sentimental, and you'll just feel defeated if you can't let go of it. Right?
Yeah.
So I like to start in like bathrooms or even purses, because sometimes it's like, I feel like I haven't gone out much, but how is my purse so like filled with all this crap? you know? So I like to just start there, get that little win, and then kind of carry it into, something else. And then when you really feel like you're struggling, the best thing to do is to just stop.
Yeah.
Like go stop, take a breath, go take a walk, whatever it is, because all you're going to do is just get stuck in this loop, and then you're
Yeah.
just going to feel guilt, and you're going to, I should do this, I didn't, I should, then you're going to start beating yourself up. So it's just best to just stop and find another time, or come into this group and
Yeah.
say, hey, help. But yeah, that is the biggest thing, I think, was finding different places to donate. That made it a lot easier for me to let go, or finding someone that I know, like, oh my gosh, I remember my cousin said she loved this sweater, or my niece said she loved this. Okay, let me give it to them. And or if there was pieces that I knew that they loved. I still do some reselling, but not a ton, because I'm not in my house yet, so it's just kind of hard to get to some of my stuff. But just you wait. I have a storage unit that I am going to have to go through. So yeah, when I moved out of my house, in my Facebook group, I was doing a lot of like logging and going through that, and it was rough. I mean, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's rough, but
It's rough.
that's why these communities are so important, right? So we can realize we're not the only ones.
We are not the only ones. I have a problem. It's me.
Yeah. But it doesn't have to stay that way, right?
Right.
We all deserve better. So
Yeah. And it's a growth opportunity, like why else are we here?
exactly.
Did you guys have any
So
other questions for Jennifer?
I will, in 3 hours.
Exactly. Right. Well, she's in our group, so
Yeah, pop them in. Oh, one last one too. Christmas decorations, for anyone getting rid of those.
I was thinking
That was
about that
another
this
one. I didn't
morning.
even
Like,
think about it.
I have tubs and
Yeah.
tubs.
Yeah, so that was another thing too. Somebody told me, same thing, like senior homes, shelters, a lot of those places, they, could use those decorations, because it's like slim pickings. And some of those theaters too, if they do certain Christmas shows or stuff like that, it's good to ask, reach out to them as well. So
Yeah, I think I'm going to Google local theaters and call them. I have a whole new set of ideas, I think, after this.
You could also carry, because
good.
of where you live. I'm sure that there are tons of, like, at Delaware, there are 2 student theaters that are unconnected to the theater department, and they put on 4 or 5 shows a year each, and they stage all that stuff themselves, and I bet they could use. So you might want to see if any of the colleges near you are
Oh, good
looking
idea.
for
Good idea.
costumes,
Mhm.
props, decorations, bed sheets,
All
whatever.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost get a list from them because there might be a lot more, like you were saying, furniture. I mean, there's going to be things that they need. Um, there's even organizations, like if you had old makeup products or some that were used. I think it was Allure, like Allure magazine. They have like a list on their website, a list of places that you can donate that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah.
there's just so many things that you can do with that. Um, so, but yes, but if you're really struggling, you feel like you're going to change your mind and you know in your heart you want to get rid of it, there's nothing wrong with just going to Goodwill and dropping it off.
Right. Right.
I do that sometimes.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's simple. Harder for me though, but simple.
Yes. It is. I did that the other day because I was like, okay, there was some stuff I wanted to go to Goodwill for, but what I've been trying to do lately is I have to bring stuff with me. I'm going to
Yeah.
donate before
Yeah.
I lock in that door. So
Yeah.
that's what I do.
That's smart. Take more than you bring back.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, I don't think I had anything else for today. I don't even have like a homework assignment that I've come up with. And I think we just need to continue on.
I guess if I could give you a little homework myself,
Yes, give me some homework. Give me some homework.
I would just say, just try to be aware of like the times that you donated in the past. Like, when is it easy for you to let go of something and when is it not? Right. Just kind of start being more aware of that. And when you have, like, if you get excited, like, oh, pets or, oh, give it away as gifts, like, think of a fun way that you can gift someone those things. Like I said, if you had a plate that you love, but you're like, oh, I just want to do something with this. Like, oh, I'm going to go to a party. Let me make something really cool. And this is kind of like the hostess gift now, right? And now it's easy because you're like, okay, it's going to somebody I know. I'm getting rid of it this way. And what they do with it is up to them. But at least now it's kind of out of my field,
I like
So
that
just
though,
think
when
about that.
if you can recognize, yes, that was easy to do. Well, that was more difficult. So if you can recognize that and remember it and like incorporate that. So that was a really good tip.
Exactly. So great. Well, hopefully you picked up some new ideas or opened up your mind to, where your stuff can go. Then that is great.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right, ladies, I will probably wrap it up tomorrow. And then we talked about doing like a regular Zoom once a week to just say where we are and how's it going and the progress and kind of hold each other's hands. I think that's something that I think I know I would benefit from. So
Accountability
guys-
is good.
yeah, if you guys are interested, then we will continue on with that.
Great.
All right. Thanks for joining today.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.